time to go back to the beginning and do it all over again on Overview with Asteroid G. You're listening to Overview from Not So Live with Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
And I'm Queen Bee.
Nothing special about that?
I almost forgot what my name was, so it's good.
And we are going to be talking today without Josh because he's not here because we record all of these at once and he's quarantined with the COVID. We are going to be talking today about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, Josh and I already did a podcast a while ago talking about Joss Whedon and how much of a misogynistic prick he is, because he is. But that doesn't ruin the fact that we have Buffy and Angel, and we like those shows. I'm more like Angel in the original Buffy movie than I like the Buffy TV show, but that's just because I don't like Buffy. I don't like Sarah Michelle Gellar's performance as her, but
okay.
Yeah. But let's start with the beginning. Let's do the overview proper, and let's go to the movie, which we kind of alluded to, I think, a couple podcasts ago, talking about, or actually it might have been the last podcast, talking about Pike and Luke Perry and how we're sad that he's gone, but we really liked the Pike character.
We did like the Pike character. I'm not a big fan of Christy Swanson either, so...
No, and she's gone really, like, ultra-Trump conservative, so I don't have to like her now.
That's true.
No.
That's true.
But the movie was funny in a stupid... It's like when we're talking about Evolution. It's not a good movie, but it's a fun, stupid movie.
It is a fun, stupid movie.
Which I know isn't what Joss Whedon wanted. He wanted a slightly more serious take on the material he wrote, but in movie form, maybe that's the direction you have to go.
But I like vampire movies in any shape, form, even if they're going to be terrible. I'm a fan of vampire movies.
Yeah.
So, and I was asked once, why do you like vampire movies? It's because I'm a biter. So I really enjoy vampire movies, vampire shows, whatever it is. I'm in.
There's a lot to like in the movie. There's Paul Rubens.
Yes.
Who's fantastic as not Lothos is the main guy, whatever his name was. I can't remember what Paul Rubens' character was, but he's hysterical and amusing, and just like Paul Rubens throws himself into that role for what little there is of it.
Well, wasn't it the end of his Pee-wee career that kind of...
It was after Pee-wee,
right?
But he still had enough clout that he could put a writer in his contract saying he wasn't allowed to die on screen.
Right.
So that's why his character keeps like waking up from the stake through the heart and kicking things and not quite being dead
and doing
yet.
the faux death.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Rutger Hauer
was Lothos.
Lothos.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, for a vampire, he's been in a handful of vampire films. So
he has done quite a long line of really bad vampire movies. But then it's Rutger Hauer. He's done quite a long line of really bad movies.
Good for you, Rutger.
Hey, whatever pays the bills.
Own it. Just own it. We salute you. So, Rutger Hauer, this one's for you. So, yeah, I support him being a very bad acting vampire lead. He was great.
Enjoyed the hell out of the role he got to play. For whatever much that Lothos got to do. Lothos was a lot of talk without a lot of substance behind him.
Right.
Yeah.
But Pike. Okay.
Pike, so much better. It should have been Pike, also featuring Buffy.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Because Luke Perry was great.
He gets the second major. He's the B plot to her A plot of her training. He gets like a whole long plot line on his own, which... Granted, I can kind of see why, like, when they redid it, they didn't bring a Pike-like character in, because Buffy has her friends in the TV show, but it's very much Buffy's plot line most of the time.
Right, and her love interest isn't a human, but a vampire. So...
It's a different thing.
Right.
Who gets way more interesting when he gets his own show.
True.
Yeah. But having Pike on there would have been not like with the intent of what the show was trying to do, especially since they like downcast her by a couple years because she's a sophomore on the show and she's, I think, a senior in the movie.
I'm pretty sure they explain that when she goes back though, because they brought her back to a freshman year because she burned the school down at her last school. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So,
yeah. They just make it so that when she's called, she's now 15 instead of 18.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of the little things that they changed between the two. But I really liked Pike.
Was it David Arquette who played Pike's friend?
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever.
He was great too.
I'm hungry. You're floating.
Yeah. Pike's character was written really well.
And it was acted to perfection by Luke Perry.
So.
Buffy's okay. I think, Christy Swanson is the hole in that movie. Donald Sutherland, who plays a phenomenal Merrick, hated all of his lines, so he just rewrote them and did whatever the hell he wanted, and he did it well.
Well, because he can.
Because he can. Because he's classically trained.
Right.
Christy Swanson sucks.
Yes.
I don't want to say that because I really do like the movie for as dumb as it is. But yeah, long term, you go back and you watch it and you're going, the gaping hole in this movie is Christy Swanson's performance. It's just not there.
But to be fair, to be fair, the gaping hole in the TV series is also Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, Buffy.
Who plays Buffy.
Yeah, no, it's all the characters around her that are way interesting.
Right.
Xander and Willow.
Yep.
Hell, by the second season, fucking Cordelia,
Yep.
Spike, even Angel to a certain extent, especially when he goes on his own show. As soon as you get outside of Buffy's orbit a little bit, you get way more interesting. One of my favorite episodes of the TV show is the one where the Slayers and, because Faith isn't at that point, who's also a great character, and like all the Scoobies except for Xander are stuck fighting the apocalypse, and Xander, the Zeppo, is off having his own adventure, and he is so much more interesting the second he escapes the orbit of everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I really liked him as an actor. Nicholas Brendan is actually very good.
Yeah.
He's not really well liked in Hollywood. I think he was kind of excised from Hollywood.
He was. Well, he has problems with substance abuse.
Okay.
And he became a problem at times on set, I believe, and in future projects as well. And he struggles with it. He tries, though.
But when he's in it,
Yes.
to win it, he's actually very good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite character, which I believe most favorite characters of the show, is probably Willow for a lot of people. I love Willow's character.
I honestly kind of expect you to say Cordelia just because she's the bitch and you're the bitch.
Well, I'm not always the bitch, but yes. Actually, I've never been that kind of highfalutin kind of bitch. I mean, I own my bitchdom, but I'm not that kind of person. So, like, I've never really attached to my phone. I've never really attached to a group.
It's too many. It's too difficult.
many people.
Plus COVID now. You don't want to attach to a group.
Right.
No.
Social distancing. I'm going to call everybody I've ever known. That's like 4 people who are still on my phone.
Very short conversations.
Right.
Ew, why am I calling you?
Exactly. So, but Willow, after she becomes the evil.
Yeah, even more interesting.
That's more like me.
Yeah, I would have watched it if they decided to give Allison Hannigan her own show afterwards of just the adventures of Willow. I would have watched the hell out of that. Yeah, Willow and Angel. If they'd ever managed to get Ripper with Giles's character having his own show over on the BBC, if that ever would have happened, that would have been watchable.
That would have been very watchable. Yeah.
And they kept talking about trying to do like a Spike spinoff as well, and then that just never materialized. And then David Marsters says that he won't do it now because he looks too old.
James Marsters. Yeah.
James, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I was getting parts of names confused there. James Marsters.
He still has a group, I don't know, a line wrapped around his booth at every con that I've ever been to.
Well, yeah, because he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's great in everything else he does. And honestly, he says he's too old to play Spike anymore. If you watched Runaways, he looks the same.
He does.
He does. He has not aged.
He has brown hair, though, instead of white hair, but he had that dyed.
That's because it was always dyed.
It did screw
bleached.
his hair up for a while, too.
It did.
Yeah.
But he'd still play the character. He loves the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he says he's too old for it. I don't think that's the case.
I think he just wants to do something else. Let's be honest.
Which is fair. A lot of actors get to that point. It's the reason why Doctor Who ends up cycling through doctors after a few years. Even though you're sitting there going, fucking, what's his name? Survived for 7 seasons? Come on, people. Grow a spine. Damn, Chris Eccleston only doing one season? Come on.
Right. David Tennant did 3 seasons?
No, he did 3 plus a year of movies.
Okay.
So.
And then Matt Smith, we're digradating again. We do this devolving. Buffy, stay on topic.
There was an unofficial crossover between the two in the comics.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah,
good to know.
Doctor's booth shows up in a panel of the In Continuity comic.
Nice.
So technically they've crossed over. No one really cares, but technically. Technically. Faith would have been another good one to spin off. I would have watched a lot of Faith.
Yes. Faith is, what's her name?
Alicia Dushku?
Yes.
Or I probably
Elijah Dushku.
Whatever.
Yes.
You got it. I didn't. Whatever.
I do like Faith's character. I really liked her in True Calling, and I liked her in Dollhouse.
Even though Dollhouse was really weird and didn't ever come together properly.
No, but a lot of the same characters from Dollhouse were in another show we recently watched. I can't remember what the name is.
I mean, the one actress who played Priya, but that wasn't her doll name. She was Sierra, I think she was over as the sister on season and a half of Altered Carbon.
I think it was, yes, Altered Carbon, and I think some of the same characters were also in The Expanse.
Maybe some side characters or side actors.
Wait, which one's the new one? It's not Altered Carbon. Was it Altered Carbon?
With
the Falcon.
Anthony Mackie, that was Altered Carbon.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is what I'm thinking of. Okay. I watched a lot of shows recently.
I know. Well, and then there's Enver, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce it, who was over on Agent Smith for a couple seasons. Agent Carter. Sorry, Agent Smith is the guy from The Matrix. Agent Carter. I'm really struggling with names today through all of these podcasts.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Although I have to admit, I would watch an Agent Smith show too. Mr. Anderson. And it's just him presenting different case files like Alfred Hitchcock style.
That would be great.
Yeah.
We need to do that one for a reboot.
Today we tell the story of Mr. Carter.
So if we are going to stick with Buffy,
why would we ever stick on topic for anything?
Anya was a very good character.
She was.
Being the demon that she was. She was a demon, right?
She was. And then she got an okay send-off.
She got an okay send-off.
Okay.
My favorite part about her character was the being frightened of rabbits.
Yeah, that was very amusing.
Best part.
It was better when they didn't explain why she was afraid of rabbits, just that she hated them was like the joke, and it worked great.
Right.
Yeah.
I really liked character who didn't stay with the show very long. I think he was only in there for one season, and then some other parts. The character who played Riley.
Yeah, the military guy.
Yeah, the military guy.
He was okay.
Love interest.
He didn't get treated well by the show.
No, he didn't.
No.
And that's why he didn't stay. But still love the character. Love Oz. Oz is one of my favorite characters.
And you could tell Seth Green was done with the show after like a season and a half. He's like, no, I'm good. I've done all that I need to do here.
Yep.
Playing a teenager into my mid-30s.
Yeah, exactly. So, there are a lot of good characters. I think, didn't Felicia Day premiere in one of the Buffys?
She was one of the chosen followettes in the last season. Yeah.
So it's nice that you see people who are coming through and having a career after Buffy.
But Angel. Angel was a much better show.
It was a better show.
Yeah.
Loved Fred.
Yeah.
Still love Fred. Whatever she's in, I love. She's also in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah.
Is she?
She was. She played Phil Coulson's
Oh, that's right.
girlfriend.
For like an episode and a half. Yeah. Not a lot, but she did a cameo in there. Yeah, no, I like her a lot too. I like basically everything about that show. Hell, the first half of the first season with the guy from Roseanne, Connor, I think was his. Not Connor. Connor was the kid. Whatever his name was on the show. He was the guy who first had the visions before they passed on to Cordelia.
Oh, no.
Can't even remember his name.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah, he was in like 6 or 8 episodes. I even liked his character. They were all great.
Yeah, all the characters around Buffy were wonderful.
And they a lot of them moved over one form or had new versions show up on Angel. And Angel grew into such a good character on his own show. There was just that one season with like Cordelia getting possessed by a demon and giving birth to a god, and that one went absolutely nowhere and
Wasn't that the season before the last season?
That was 4th season, and it was
okay.
really not good. But then it picked up when they took over the evil lawyer agency. And
it's Michelle Trachtenberg is when she came into the show. That's really when it started to go downhill. Like they've completely forgotten what the show was all about and how to start it and how to keep the people interested. And they jumped the shark a few times, and that was part of jumping a shark.
But they were always willing to reboot too, and they rebooted by shifting them over to the law firm and letting them do something different there. And that last season, except for a couple small bumps, was really good. So
okay.
Season 5 was great.
Season 5 was great.
Season 5.
I liked, what's his name? He was the black gentleman. What's his name?
I don't know, but he was gone.
Yeah.
J. August Richards, I think is his name. Is J something? I don't know. I'd have to
We're
look.
bad with names.
I'm always bad with names.
Names are hard. I mean, the whole concept of Buffy did well in movie, did well in TV show. I mean, it did go for 7 seasons for Buffy.
Right. And J. August Richards. How did I remember that?
Good for you.
Charles Gunn was the character's name.
Charles Gunn.
Yeah.
And I liked the puppet episode for Angel.
The puppet episode was phenomenal.
That's great. Yeah. And my favorite Buffy episode, of course, is the musical episode. Because why wouldn't it be? Because, Get the Mustard Out. Best song ever.
Well, they did. They got the mustard out.
They did. So, if we're gonna talk about Buffy, we're gonna talk about Angel.
Yep, which we kind of did.
So the best character that isn't really a character is a character, but not necessarily a main character. Spike. James Marsden.
I mean, he shows up on, I think, more of the show than many other characters.
Yeah.
And then he gets recurring throughout the comics that come afterwards. Like, yeah, like he became a fan favorite for many people because...
Isn't Buffy still going on in comics?
It just ended its previous in continuity run, and now it's doing a new run where they basically reboot it and take it back to high school, but as if it's set in the modern day.
Okay.
For reasons. I don't know. Because comics. Okay. I haven't read that run at all.
Okay.
The comics were actually pretty good for the first couple years, and then they kind of fell off, which is, what happens when anything that's a continuation goes on for too long. It just is what it is.
Good to know.
Yeah. Anyway.
But that's it. That's all I got to say about Buffy. Love Buffy. Great show. We should probably make it a reboot episode and figure out who we would reboot it with.
Well, I mean, who would you reboot it with? Well, how would you reboot it? Would you even need to reboot it?
Well, Supernatural just ended.
So you need something to give you your fix?
You need something. I think people need something to give a fix, and Legacies is...
Well,
exactly.
Vampire Diaries fell off after the first couple years when they stopped doing the breakneck pace of introducing a character, having them have a plot line, and kill them all in like 2 episodes. And they were like, I guess we need to draw this out now because we got like another 6 years of this show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that and Nancy Drew, for what it is pretty decent.
Yeah. I stopped watching. It lost me.
I know.
Yeah.
But it was very predictable. I mean, you can probably guess how it ended so far.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
Okay. So
there's ghosts.
The face of the blank face.
Honestly, it lost me the second they introduced ghosts because the first couple episodes had no supernatural premise to it whatsoever, and I thought it was really interesting. They were just going to do a straight murder mystery on the CW with these teenagers, and then they're like, and then there's ghosts. I'm like, fuck, why? It doesn't even work in this premise. Why? The books that they're based on, as far as I know, and bear in mind.
Yeah, they don't. No.
Yeah, so
books don't.
Why would they introduce fucking ghosts?
I mean, they're doing so... If you watch Riverdale or any of those shows, which I don't think you do.
No, because I did the first... It was like with Glee. Like, there was a season where the show was kind of interesting, and then they come in for the second season, like, okay, so this is the stuff that people said they liked, so we're just going to play to those points and ignore everything else. And so Riverdale went from this show that was a little dramatic, but kind of just heightened, and now is this, self-parody of a self-parody of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly...
Yeah. And I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't go into a show that purposely jumps the shark that much.
If Nancy Drew took a little bit more from that and stayed more murder mystery, because they have more murder mystery in Archie comics. So I was like, wait, this is supposed to be a comedy, not a murder mystery. But I really do like Dylan Cole's performance. Dylan Cole?
Is he Jughead?
Yes, he's Jughead.
Jughead was okay.
His performance is the reason I watch the show. I don't watch it for anybody else. Thanks, Zach and Cody. Sweet life.
Hey.
Yeah, I had to watch it because my kids watch it. That's the reason. Sure, that's the reason.
Yeah, that's the reason.
And anyway,
you kept watching it after they stopped because...
Whatever.
Because you were already in it at that point. I'm invested in their plot lines.
I need to know what Brenda Song's doing with it. Ashley Tisdale.
Oh my God, there's a spinoff. I must watch it now.
They actually just had an anniversary recently. Anyway, so on all that mundane shows that you don't even... Yeah, no. He's giving me a really odd look. Anyway, so Nancy Drew, if you were to do some kind of Nancy Drew or a reboot of Buffy, it would have to have some kind of more mystery added to it. You can have the supernatural... taste, but not necessarily have it as deep as it was for Supernatural. And I don't know if you know this about all the shows that are currently going right now. Like they rebooted Charmed, which is terrible. It's an awful reboot. I think we're saying something because I've seen
honestly
Charmed.
With the way the CW schedule looks, we're only 2 seasons away from a Supernatural reboot.
Yeah, of some kind of or some kind of reboot of Supernatural something.
Yeah.
They have a lot of Supernatural, but they're not really following the formula that Charmed had. Other than it's 3 sisters, it's meh.
I mean, if they're going to reboot Buffy, it's going to end up on the CW, I think, at this point. There's no other place for it. Yeah, there's no other place on TV for it. So,
But that's where you're going to find your supernatural shows anyway. Yeah.
the CW kind of has the lock on that.
Yeah, I think they inundated their showing capacity with all of the DC shows.
The Arrowverse. Yeah, they're starting to have a fall off on ratings on all of them because there's too many of them.
There's too many.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like the fact that they have is what they have, but I think you could probably trim it down to just Supergirl, Batwoman, and The Flash, and then just have like short seasons in between, kind of like what they were doing at one point with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then Agent Carter in the middle between halves or something. You could do like half a season, and then you do like a Justice League-y thing with the Legends for like 8 episodes, and then you pick up with the other shows again afterwards and like have the big event of the season tie into Legends at the end and then move back over.
Yeah.
So that worked better. And then the shows would hold up together better, and people wouldn't be expected to watch like 8 different things just to keep it. I can't.
It's too much watching.
I'm going to end up watching Black Lightning again next year, and I don't want to. I don't like that show.
Well,
it's
here,
so
word
bad.
to the wise Hollywood. If anybody from Hollywood is actually listening to this podcast, probably not. But if you are,
take our advice.
Yeah, take our advice. You have way too much Walking Dead going on. You have
one was too much.
One show is fine if you want to throw in new characters like you did for the second Walking Dead show, Fear the Walking Dead. I like the character base there better. I mean, you could have just, switched out characters, but you're over inundating the market.
I'm waiting
with
for their
all of
cooking
these.
show, Smell the Walking Dead.
Smell the Walking Dead. With Grimes. Carl. So, just so you know, we need a little bit more supernatural, a little less zombie, and you can put vampire out there anytime.
We're prime.
Not Vampire Diaries.
We are prime for a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. Whatever they're doing in the comics maybe could work as a TV show. I don't know. Or you'd find a new take on it. But whatever it is, I think we are prime for a new Buffy.
Or a new type of Buffy. It doesn't have to be Buffy.
Yeah.
But a new...
If it's a reboot, it's going to be our property.
That's true.
I mean, I think they were at one point working on doing a Buffy reboot or something set in the same universe with a new cast of characters or something. I don't know. But I haven't heard anything about it since it was announced like last year. So maybe it's already been scrapped or COVID killed it or the upcoming writer's strike kills it or whatever. Because that's something that's going to happen too.
A writer's strike?
Yeah, they're talking about having a writer's strike next year because their contracts are up for renewal.
Awesome.
Yep. So all the shows that come back after the virus finally goes away will once again die off again. Wee.
Fun.
Yep. Anyway, I think we're gone, Buffy.
We're
we
good
pretty
on
much
Buffy.
stopped talking about 5 minutes ago.
We're good on Buffy.
Okay. This has been an overview of Buffy the Vampire Slayer from Not So Live with Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
I'm Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.